Welcome everybody to SAP on VMware, our roadmap for next generation SAP applications. I'm Dominic Uliano. I run the alliance between SAP and VMware. And like I said, I'd like to talk to you about our roadmap for our current and our next generation applications with SAP. I'd like to start by talking to you about our partnership with SAP. So SAP and VMware have been partners since 2007. We are a global technology partner of SAP's, and we actually focus very much around helping customers virtualize SAP HANA, both on-premise, in the hybrid cloud, on HCI. Our focus of our product is the software-defined data center, which many of SAP's customers have chosen to standardize on as their virtualization platform for SAP. So let's get right into it. All right, let's start talking about why we do what we do around SAP. So VMware's value prop around SAP, it really needs to meet these four criteria. So everything we do around virtualizing SAP and SAP HANA is focused around agility, availability, scalability, and TCO. Let me dive into these just a little bit here. So first of all, agility, right? Not only do we want to enable our customers to virtualize SAP, but we want to bring value add to the business by enabling IT to be much more responsive to the business, right? This is something that a lot of our customers need to change applications rapidly. They need to add functionality rapidly, and SAP's got some very rigid change controls, and we can help accelerate that by not only just virtualizing the platform itself, but actually introducing things like SAP automation and other things. So our strive is to ensure that everything we do brings with it the ability to improve SAP's agility and IT's ability to deliver to the business. Availability is something near and dear to our heart. Even VMware itself runs SAP, but what's really a focus is the business requires the system to be as available as possible. VMware brings with it capabilities that really are not matched in the industry. Things around VMware fault tolerance or VMHA, things that no other hypervisor or hyperscaler can actually deliver on. And these have actually become the standard best practices for SAP on VMware as an industry standard. And we're actually quite proud of that because our customers utilize these to keep their businesses running all the time. Scalability is another very important aspect here, right? So especially when you look at things like SAP HANA requires both a scale up and a scale out capability. It also has a very strict set of performance KPIs that it must hit. And for VMware, we must ensure that we hit those performance KPIs before we actually can claim it's supported by SAP for HANA. And when you wrap these three pieces up all into one, it really has to amount to an improved TCO for our customers. Our customers obviously are being asked to do more with less. The cost is always a factor when you're running big, large IT systems. And VMware approaches TCO from the bottom up. We approach it from how can we help our customers get the best utilization of their hardware. So get best density of being able to run as much on that hardware as possible. That's been something VMware's been doing ever since it was created in 1998. But also, how can we make IT operations that much more efficient, right? So by automating, by enabling operational consistency, that's how we introduce efficiencies into IT that other vendors cannot do. Now, starting with some of the future applications, especially around Kubernetes and SAP Gardener, we start to approach TCO from a developer operations model. How can we ensure that developers can be much more efficient than they are today? And, how can we deploy applications faster and more efficiently? So that's what goes into everything that we do around SAP here at VMware. So our customers are all on their own journey to the hybrid cloud. Most of SAP's customers have expressed a desire to either be multi-cloud or hybrid cloud enabled, ultimately with their SAP systems, and basically with many of their systems. But a lot of our customers have started with just virtualizing, and that's great. But VMware really wants to move them along onto their journey. So we recommend that our customers move as quickly as possible, leverage VMware's SAP landscape automation. By automating your SAP landscape, you can dramatically reduce your provisioning time, your deprovisioning time, your start and stop, and that amounts to quite a bit of TCO. But having an automated landscape on top of a virtual data center is just the optimal model for an on-premise. Now, moving from on-premise into a hybrid cloud, our customers are kind of looking at two different paths. One is they want something hosted or managed, or they're starting to move to a cloud building block that will enable them to take advantage of the cloud later on. Even such things as HANA Enterprise Cloud Customer Edition is a managed offering by SAP. It's built on top of VMware. But our customers are really looking for either that managed option, or they want to build, and especially with HANA, cloud enable HANA by actually putting it on HCI. And HCI is hyper-converged infrastructure that is actually powered by vSphere and vSAN, our software-defined storage product. And of course, Kubernetes is coming very quickly. Kubernetes is the next generation of virtualization using containers, and VMware and SAP are both very aggressively adopting and moving towards Kubernetes in their respective areas. VMware is looking at Kubernetes from a bottom-up perspective, right? So how do we enable our virtual infrastructure to enable Kubernetes, right? So that developers can utilize it and application owners can utilize it. SAP is looking at it from a refactoring of their applications and how they can leverage Kubernetes to be much more efficient and agile and meet the needs of our joint customers. This leads us to the modern apps model that a lot of our customers have expressed a desire to move to, but just don't quite have the readiness to go to it yet. And all of this is done by adopting many of the things that I just spoke about. If anybody's looking for more information around this, please feel free to contact us. We're happy to walk you through the journey and see how you can move forward with this. So SAP HANA is front and center to what VMware does around SAP. HANA is SAP's in-memory database. They've built all of their current and their future applications on HANA, and VMware wants to be a key part of that strategy. So we spend a lot of time testing and certifying and building our capabilities. And sometimes it's actually really good to take a step back and then take a step forward, right? So look at where we've been. When we first started virtualizing SAP HANA and certifying our hypervisor to support SAP HANA, we started with a very small capability, 64 vCPUs, right? So not a lot of compute and 1 terabyte of memory, right? And this actually pushed VMware's capabilities to the limit. That was the largest virtual machine that we had available at the time. And then we very quickly, within about 1 year, we were able to double the compute and quadruple the memory, right? We were quite proud of this. We had a 4 terabyte capability for HANA. We thought this was as far as it would ever go. But of course, the needs of SAP customers are always growing, and immediately there was pressure on VMware to start to deliver more, right? So for customers that want to virtualize HANA, they said, VMware, you've got to start improving, you got to get larger capacity. So by 2019, last year, we were able to certify our hypervisor, vSphere 6.7 and vSphere 7.0 on up to 6 terabytes of memory for scale up. And basically, we were able, for the first time, we were able to consume an entire 4-socket box. We were quite proud of this. But still, our customers told us, hey, you got to do better. So what we're working on now is something that we're very excited about. And we'll be announcing it shortly. But we're looking at 12 terabyte scale up and being able to consume an entire 8-socket machine. And this is something that should be coming very soon. Another thing we've added is the ability to run HANA on persistent memory. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. The other thing we bring is we bring one more deployment option than our competitors. So today, you have HANA deployment modes of a single VM, right? So running HANA on a single VM, and then in scale-up mode. And you can also run HANA in a scale-out mode, so spread across many hosts. But VMware brings with it one other capability, and that's HANA in multi-VM mode. This literally means running multiple HANA virtual machines on a single physical host. And none of the hyperscalers can do this today, right? So this is a big part of VMware's TCO benefit. And no other hypervisor, Intel-based hypervisor, can support a half socket VM or 2 VMs per socket for HANA. So we are quite proud of this. But this enables our customers to really move HANA in multiple different ways, as well as get the optimal TCO from their hardware. So focusing on our roadmap, where we've been and where we're going. So we started 2020 with a bang. We not only certified the 6 terabyte that I mentioned before, but we also certified on persistent memory, Intel Optane. Intel Optane is memory that presents itself as storage to HANA. It's called AppDirect, and it enables HANA to restart very, very fast. It also is much less expensive than typical DDR4. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. We also certified our latest hypervisor on 6 terabyte and full 4-socket VM. And then we are now working on our 12 terabyte HANA scale up across 8 sockets, as well as a 48 terabyte scale out. And we are also working on something that should be out sometime next year, is 18 terabyte scale up VM, and that will use both PMEM and DDR4. We're very excited about this. This will enable almost all of SAP customers, except for the largest customers with the largest HANA systems, to go on our platform. So I'll give you a quick glance at this, but this is actually our current support matrix for HANA. But I do want to talk about our strategy very quickly. The way VMware works is we actually look at supporting, so we certify by chip and by hypervisor. And in this particular case, what we do with HANA is we always try to support one chip before the current and one chip after the current as part of our plan, so that we have a rolling 3-chip support model when it comes to the Intel chips. This has been in place now for about 5 years, and it's actually quite successful. Again, let's talk a little bit about PMEM. This is Intel Optane, and this is something that Intel and SAP and VMware have collaborated on for quite a few years. VMware spent about a year doing its certification for HANA, and we're very excited because this introduces a substantial TCO capability or reduction, because the DIMMs for PMEM are much less expensive than DDR4, as well as running HANA on AppDirect mode enables HANA to restart very, very quickly. This is a huge value to our businesses, because with HANA in memory, you want it to have as much in memory when it restarts, so that the business can take advantage of that performance. So we're very excited. Intel will now be a standard as part of our validation portfolio. So every new hypervisor that we come out with that will be certified for HANA, we will also certify PMEM on it as well. TDI5 is something that we're very happy about. TDI5 enables a new sizing model for HANA. There's typically an appliance sizing, as well as and now what's called a workload-based sizing. And workload-based sizing allows you to get much more prescriptive in your sizing for HANA. And this actually allows for significant TCO reduction, because our customers can actually right-size their systems based on their actual projected workload, and not just the typical core to memory rules that SAP's had for appliance sizing. VMware is the only Intel-based hypervisor that supports TDI sizing today. So HANA on HCI, I talked about this during the journey. And when we look at HANA on HCI, it utilizes another software-defined component from VMware, and that's vSAN, which is our software-defined storage. And the way HCI works is that we combine the power of vSphere, vSAN, and our partners like Lenovo, Fujitsu, Supermicro, HPE, Dell, and we actually certify a joint platform that's both hardware and software that's completely supported by SAP for HANA. This is actually our current matrix for HANA on HCI. VMware has done a lot of work across our partners to ensure that our customers have significant amounts of choice when they want to choose their HCI platform. As we talked about with the hybrid cloud, our customers are actually looking at, VMware, what's your recommended approach for a hybrid cloud architecture? And we've got this in place today. It all starts in the customer's data center with their infrastructure. All right, we start with the building blocks that we've talked about, vSphere, NSX, and vSAN, and then putting the SAP applications on top of it. But then it allows our customers to move very quickly into the public cloud utilizing the same architecture, right? So that's something that we are working on today, and it's something that our customers can take advantage of if they're looking at a hybrid model for their SAP applications. One of the things that we are working on is VMware Cloud on AWS. We are in the process of getting that certified for SAP and SAP HANA, and that's something we'll be very excited about to announce in the near future. And when we look at our workloads, our goal is to enable SAP applications to run anywhere, right? Run on-prem, run on the hybrid cloud, run fully in a public cloud on a VMware-based stack. And that's our ultimate goal by working with our cloud partners and with SAP. So now I want to talk about our future, right? Our future is very exciting. We've spent the past year working with SAP on a joint integration or joint development project for something called SAP Gartner, but it's really around enabling Kubernetes on top of VMware Cloud Foundation. So basically what we've done, we worked with SAP over this past year to take SAP Project Gartner, which is their open source Kubernetes orchestration and management, and to integrate it into VCF. VMware Cloud Foundation. Now, this is something that, and let's talk about really how Gartner actually works. Gartner is set up as a very scalable and very secure Kubernetes orchestration and management platform. And what it does is it requires programmable infrastructure such as VMware Cloud Foundation. So what we've done is we've provided Kubernetes-based APIs in our latest VMware Cloud Foundation 4.1 for Gartner to become a first-class citizen. So we have actually are intimately integrating SAP Gartner into VMware Cloud Foundation, and this will then act as the future platform for the SAP applications that will run on top of it. Here's a little better view of what we're doing with vSphere 7. vSphere 7, we introduced the what's called the supervisor cluster. So one thing Gartner needs is it needs direct access to these APIs to provision compute, storage, and network for its seed and shoot clusters. And this is something we are working on actively with SAP today. And hopefully very soon we'll be able to announce its availability for general use. So I'd like to take the time to thank everybody for attending my session. This was a short but sweet roadmap overview. And of course, I'll always be happy to talk to anybody directly. If they like, please feel free to contact me. But I'd like to thank you for taking the time for our session. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your TechEd event. Thank you.